Azimio. I thought that's just what I have thought. I've just heard him say. So I'm trying to say this so that there is clarity. Azimio coalition is a coalition that was formed by more than 20 political parties. To walk out of it and then start saying that you're in another formation so casually is being contemptuous to Kenyans who even voted for us at Azimio. We went to court to fight for the votes that were given to Azimio by Kenyans, and the court did pronounce itself by saying that Azimio is actually the majority party in parliament.
Fair enough.
Not fair, because this is the thing. If all of us who were in Azimio and had members in parliament, rebellious or not, if we remained true to what we told Kenyans when we were campaigning, we will be controlling one arm of government. Kenyans will not be suffering the way they are. And that's why our party leader said, we were not here to take corners. If we remained faithful to what we signed as Azimio, before we start associating ourselves with other formations, we would have helped this country in a
Jeremiah,
big way,
you understand?
because we will be addressing those issues on the floor of the House.
But you know better than me, Jeremiah. You know better than me, Bonan Jeremiah.
What we are now trying to do...
Your political friends donated experts to the government.
And we are saying that is them.
Wase, unakwama why? Unakwama mbona? Ebu ingia pale.
That is them. We are in opposition, and we continue addressing this issue, if all of us remained faithful to what we promised Kenyans, we would have been able to fight the finance bill on the floor. We would have been able to fight the housing bill. We would have been able to fight this chicha thing that is not working from the floor of the House. But we will remain committed to that until it becomes necessary for us to get into another coalition which will then define what we do 2027. What am I saying? That yes, we are in opposition. I see our colleagues very busy trying to force us out of opposition and trying to force us into government. I don't know why they would want to think that they can bully us or bully our party leader, bully Matiang'i, bully ourselves. That cannot help us.
All right.
But we need to be bullied by the difficulties Kenyans have, not,
all right. And that
not the desire of issues.
Fair enough. And that National Delegates Conference has elicited quite some reaction in as far as the political landscape is concerned. Let's have a look at what some of the political leaders are saying. This is...
as was expected.
Kioni wa Mushomba in defense of former President Uhuru Kenyatta. She says, and I quote, before DCP, there was Jubilee, UDA, DP, and others. Nobody has the monopoly of 8 million mountain votes. We said this before. Hatupangwingwi, Uhuru Kenyatta is the undisputed kingpin of the mountain, and he did not force it on us.
And may I add there that
Parliament. We'll come to that.
I'm adding and saying Gachagua was actually a member of Jubilee.
We'll come to your comments. I think that statement in part continues. It was a lengthy post she made on her Facebook page. The Githunguri lawmaker continues to say, at least in his 10 years rule with all his flaws, he was never impeached and never impeached his deputy. He unified the country. He's now at liberty to bless anybody to take over from him, even if it is not me. The Githunguri lawmaker in a statement this evening, reflecting on the Jubilee NDC, National Delegates Conference, and the kingpinship of whoever will lead the mountain in as far as the politics of it is concerned. That statement, as I earlier noted, quite lengthy, and it continues. And if it's all what was about him during swearing in of the KK government is true, why do you want to inherit his messy party? Kwani inheritance is given by force. Attacking Uhuru is despising Kiambu and Mount Kenya at large. I thought we learnt a lesson after the Mbuzi stealing episodes. Let's get to what other leaders are equally saying. I believe we have a comment from the former Cabinet Secretary in the Kenya Kwanza government, Moses Kuria. He says, and I quote, Uhuru Kenyatta has every right to express his views about everything and anything. Uhuru Kenyatta has every right to promote Jubilee Party as the party leader. I stand, he says, with Uhuru Kenyatta. He's a former cabinet minister, former presidential advisor, and the party leader of CCM. Bwana SD, let's continue with this. Of course, there's a heated political discussion in as far as the leadership of the mountain politically is concerned. The former impeached Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua says he has 7 million votes from Mount Kenya. Are you one of them?
No. And my wife confirmed that she is not part of it. By the way, the more interesting one is the Gen Z in my family who said, jamaa anatubebaje. You know, I don't know what that's the language, anatubebaje. Yani, anatuonaje. Because that's a very demeaning statement. And we must be careful not to think so poorly of the intelligence level of Kenyans from any part of this country.
And even if the figures are figuratively exaggerated, his reference is that he is the political leader of the mountain. You dispute that?
I mean, he is a leader within the mountain. That's not a question.
The de facto political leader. That's
not an issue. And there are many other political leaders in the mountain. Even Moses Kuria is a political leader in the mountain.
Here's how I withdraw profit on Olymp Trade. I make a deposit conveniently in the
But the thing is that the mountain legion, like the Lake Legion and the Coast Legion, Rift Valley Legion, are all parts of this country, and any Kenyan is free to go and campaign in those areas. This issue of trying to balkanize a legion is not useful to people coming from whichever legion that you are trying to balkanize that region from. You can create hatred towards that region and bad feeling towards that region. And those of us who think that you can campaign on a regional basis are best back in the KANU days. This is where we used to hear, this is a KANU zone. Those are very, very scary statements, even my state of minds, knowing where you've come from.
But when I
remember,
for a man who is on the record,
just a minute.
Let me ask so that I allow you to respond. Yeah. For a man who is on the record saying that he was betrayed politically, if he is boasting of a political marshalling support, is there a problem with that?
He was betrayed?
Within the Kenya Kwanza setup.
Now, that's a debate. If that is a kind of mentality that was within the Kenya setup, no wonder they have not settled to date, and we will not want to use that as a platform to think of thinking on moving forward. Remember, during Kibaki's time, I don't know whether you must have been very young, we used to have political tourism. That was a term that was coined by KANU to try and hold people within their own constituencies. They never wanted Kibaki's influence outside Othaya. So they called him political tourist, and they was just trying to confine him to Othaya so that they delayed his presidency. If it wasn't for those kind of schemes, including similar things I'm hearing from Gachagua, Kibaki would possibly have become a president much, much earlier than 2002. I see Gachagua applying the same kind of tactics towards Jubilee and Matiang'i, trying to, blackmail him, bully him out of a region, and try and delay his presidency. And I don't see that working, because you cannot bully people the way we were bullied by KANU those days. So we can see through some of the things that they are trying to do. And when we say that we are going to have the NDC, you saw them get so scared. You heard what Marara was saying, calling us lead wheelbarrow, and this lead wheelbarrow, if it is unfailed, it is coming to threaten DCP. DCP found Jubilee having run a country for 10 years. Gachagua found us in the opposition. I was wearing sufuria, he called me a Mogoroki. Sasa hii mwenda wazimu amekuja tao. Hayuko huko alikuwa. He came to my area, by the way, and made my fellows, my colleagues in the village there to kneel atuaniombe kwa sababu mimi nilikuwa mwenda wazimu. And he is now trying to tell us, by the way, you know this piece of paper, which I don't want to take a lot of your time. This is a list of unclaimed bodies. 295 of them were advertised by Sakaja. And these bodies were, these are Kenyans who died during the demonstrations. Part of these demonstrations happened when some of these people were in government. They have never said anything. about it. And we are now we are burning them with a tractor. So you cannot come to the opposition and then start bullying us like there's nothing we were doing. You are doing press-ups uko kwa ofisi when you are beating us with tear gas.
And you dispute his claim that he has 7 million people politically backing him from the mountain.
I mean, I cannot, that's an issue I do not want to engage in. There are many things people say, and you are happy saying it. That's not an issue that I think should occupy Kenyans. Alisema ako nafugua na beba kwa mfugua, ameweka kwa mfuko. Can you imagine you talking about that of a section of this country at this time? And he was proved wrong by these young Kenyans, patriotic Kenyans, who went all the way to Othaya to see the young man called Karuma.
Actually, that was our top
over 1,000 of them from all over this country. They never bothered to find out who had the keys to Othaya. They went to bail out one of their own.
We are talking
that's the spirit in this country.
We are talking of the region politically, and because of the interest of time, should Mount Kenya, the region you are equally politically from, front a presidential candidate in the 2027 polls?
I must have missed that question.
Should Mount Kenya front a presidential candidate from the region?
Kenyans should front a presidential candidate who did with William one touch.
Dude, I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry.
One touch. I believe that candidate is Fred Matiang'i. Not because he is in Jubilee, but because he seems to attract support from across all tribes, all regions, all cadres of the society. And he seems to fit the bill where Kenyans are saying they actually do not want a politician, they want a manager. If that candidate will come from Jubilee, we'll be happy to support him. He is a Jubilee member. He was with us at the NDC. At the point when the bell is rung, we will rally behind him, all of us. And that's what we are saying. When they now say that the opposition must produce one candidate, that is the ideal. We would want them to produce one candidate. And we will want that candidate to be identified by Kenyans. In the event that it becomes untenable, we will do it, we will go it alone. Not because that we don't want the support of others, but because if you continue waiting, remember what hurt us in Azimio 2022. We were not able to hammer a coalition until the month of April of 2022. That is when Kalonzo signed the agreement. April of 2022. Some 7 months or 6 months before we were voting. That kind of pull and push will not allow it this time around. And this is the other lesson that we learned. William Ruto did not have a coalition. He did it alone, only inviting Akina Musalia towards the end of it. He did not run on a coalition.
Is that to suggest that to the opposition it is Jubilee's way or the highway? No,
it is that there are so many lessons that we have to learn, and if we have to work together, one, we must respect one another. You cannot call me, you are calling me a wheelbarrow, you are a lead wheelbarrow, and you are telling me to come over. You are bullying me that you can, you know. It is Mandela who said, how arrogant can you be to try and tell us who should be and should not be our friend? How arrogant can people be to tell Matiang'i, don't join Jubilee, don't run on Jubilee, go for, that's being very arrogant. Matiang'i, at no point have we heard him say, come with the DCP, come with this other party, come with the other party. He came over, respected your choices, respect his choice.
Jeremiah Kioni, you have talked of political arrogance. Let's talk of political humility for a second. Will Jubilee accept a candidate fronted by the united opposition to be a presidential flag bearer other than its candidate?
Do.
Will?
Do. Let me ask you. You know, for you to ask that kind of a question, you are trying to bully us into a corner.
No, absolutely not.
I'm asking this. One is that when you talk of united opposition, whatever you're calling it, I don't know whether you want us to go into the details of it. I have never seen any document written to my party from that organization. Two, there are individuals who are moving around in that group and they are not even officials of the party, any party. So there is a lot of tidying that needs to be done there so that we don't hoodwink Kenyans. Again, you cannot campaign within 2 constituencies or 2 counties and then you tell us to come to a table to choose a presidential candidate. Let each of the parties do a campaign countrywide. And as we are doing that, that coalition will be as strong as each of the political parties that join it. But this is too early and premature to start talking of some of the things I've seen being fruited. We are just leaving the courts. We have no, they talked about the by-elections and they said they have agreed to do this, they have agreed to do the other. We in Jubilee did not even have the National Elections Board, which is a requirement of the law. It is now we are constituting it. We may be meeting for the first time tomorrow with them. So there are many things we as Jubilee must do before we are able to answer some of the questions that you are putting before us.
Finally,
and it is only fair that they have respect to that for that position. That
one final question. In a separate media interview, Bwana SG, you alluded and hinted as though the President, William Ruto, and Rigathi Gachagua are politically working together.
I don't know. I only heard what Gachagua himself said, according to what I was told by people who were in his office on the 17th, I think 17th or thereabout, 17th of September. And he is reported as having told one Joshua, Dr. Joshua from Narok town, that he said, unajua mimi niko na Kenya kwa mkono yangu namna hii. And the guy he actually demonstrated the way Gachagua was saying, because Joshua wanted a ticket for Narok ward. And he was actually the preferred candidate with DCP. And he had been invited to the office so that he could be handed the certificate, only for him to be told the certificate is not yours, it belongs to another person. So Joshua became upset, according to what they told me. And Gachagua then said that I have received emissaries from William Ruto. Ameniambia wewe sanya watu yako na mimi sanya watu yangu. Tutakutana tukawe hii keki. And Gachagua said this. He has 7 million votes, like he has said, that is there. I have another 1 million vote from Karonzo, another 1 million vote from the Ma community, 800,000 votes from Matiang'i. Hiyo itakuwa yangu. Na mimi nitasaidia, alafu nitapata hiyo keki nitatengeneza. We Joshua, nyamaza tu, I'll nominate you. That's a reported thing. And I have no doubt, Gachagua is the truthful man, so I have no doubt in, I don't have any reason to doubt what I was told by that team. 15 people were in that room. And
this is based on a third party reporting to you.
By the way, anyway, yes.
Okay.
They are the ones they can refute it. Let them give us the details as to what happened during that meeting.
Okay, Jeremiah Kioni is the Jubilee.
By the way, if you want the gentleman himself to come and say it, he is a candidate, Narok town ward. He can come and do it. Very bold, young Maasai gentleman.
Thank you very much, Bwana Secretary General of